So there's definitely no shortage of uniqueness in Samurai Jack, and today I'm going to go through my top 5 unique fights of Samurai Jack.
Number 5.
Demongo. Now this is a very interesting fight in that Demongo is kind of a supervillain in a way, but still is a henchman of Aku, and he's a very interesting one. Usually you have these basic like bounty hunter robots attacking Jack, but this time it is an actual like demonic type of villain who uses those past bounty hunters and such against Jack in this fight. And what is also interesting about this is that Demongo has basically enslaved them and keeps their souls inside himself. So during this fight, Jack has to fight this never-ending horde of fighters until he finally figures out a way to defeat Demongo in grabbing the essence that from a defeated fighter, going back inside Demongo himself and kind of freeing all of the enslaved souls within Demongo, or the warrior's essence, and in doing so strips Demongo of his power, because that is kind of his power, like Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, who takes the souls of the warriors.
Number 4.
Number 4, gotta give it to the Samurai Zord. Now this is unique, obviously, in that it is not actually Samurai Jack fighting this time, but he is fighting using a giant stone samurai to fight the Mondo-bot. So it's less about the skills of the martial arts and his sword skills, it's more about like a giant Power Rangers-esque fight between these two giant robotic-like things in this city. And it's also a very cool fight in showing how powerful the Samurai Zord is in crushing and just basically destroying the Mondo-bot's main chest laser, very powerful laser, and kind of making it backfire. And of course it's a giant samurai, because what else but a giant ancient Samurai Zord.
Number 3.
Number 3 goes to Jack versus the Ninja. Now this is a robotic ninja who has been trained specifically to assassinate Samurai Jack, hide in the shadows, and be very stealthy. So the ninja kidnaps a little boy, and Jack has to go and save him, and starts going up against this very skilled ninja who uses the shadows to hide himself. So Jack can't quite get a fix on him initially, but because all of the training and experiences he's gone through, is able to use the light to hide himself instead of just the shadows like the ninja's using, and like ninjas use in general. So you got a really cool clash between light and dark here, especially with the imagery, with the sun shining through the roof of this building. And not only that, the sun starts to set, giving the ninja even more shadow to hide and attack Jack with. But of course light prevails and Jack defeats the ninja. So of course the fight itself had some interesting elements to it, but the visuals and the sound of it all really immerses you into this sequence, and the direction of just the basic, just black and white, very little color, really added to how unique this fight is.
Number 2.
Number 2 goes to Ghost House. During Jack's travels, he comes across a girl who he follows into this house, which turns out to be haunted by a demonic entity. And while Jack is walking through this house, it is very scary and surreal, something very unnatural about it, until eventually the demonic entity pins Jack down and kind of like absorbs his soul or essence. However, of course, this is the demon's big mistake, because Jack's righteousness overcomes, takes out his sword with his mind, breaks out of the little barrier that he's in, and has an epic, really interesting sounding battle with this demonic entity. And that's one of the most unique things about this fight in particular, is the very distorted sound within this realm which is inside the demon. That, and the fact that it is fairly slow paced, or at least their movements are fairly slow. So a very, very interesting sequence. And of course Jack is able to defeat the horse-like demon and free the souls of the families that lived in that house.
And number 1.
For number 1, I'm going with Jack versus Mad Jack. And reasons for this is not only that it is a very cool fight, it is that it's more of an internal struggle with Jack facing off basically against himself and his own anger. And prior to Mad Jack coming into existence, we get the frustration levels of Jack building up throughout the episode fighting all the bounty hunters, the non-stop bounty hunters that just don't stop coming. And Mad Jack is basically a materialization of his anger and frustration at everything, which is damaging his integrity of like his righteous nature. So he needs to battle it and try to overcome that so that he can stay the person that he is and not let his anger control him, but him control his anger. And the portrayal of this is very interesting in that over the course of the fight, the distinguishing characteristics between these two fighters become more and more unclear. There's fire everywhere. They're both yelling, their hair is all disheveled, but finally Jack has the realization of what he needs to do and just say, my anger is not in control of me, I am in control of my anger, and says that basically Mad Jack cannot harm him because he won't let it, and in doing so defeats Mad Jack. So write in the comments what you think of this list or what your own list would be. Share the video out to get other opinions on it. I hope you got some enjoyment out of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy.